Well, hello there and welcome to another segment of our online mentorship session. I'm so glad that you're around and we apologize that we are 15 minutes late again. We had a little challenge, but thank God that it's resolved right now. So, greetings to every one of us um, following across the world. Thank you for being a part of this online mentorship session. And I know today, like other days, promises to be exciting, exhilarating, inspiring, thought provoking, life transforming, all that you need to get on the subject discussed on this platform. Thank you so much for taking our time to be here with us. I believe this is a good investment of your time, and trust me, you will not regret being a part of this session. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like you to hit the like button right away. Of course, I'm told by our team for now that we are streaming on YouTube. So I would crave your indulgence that as you like this video on YouTube, you get to share the broadcast so that many more of our friends and family who may want to follow by Facebook will have to join us on YouTube. We'll work towards seeing if we can get restored on Facebook, but for now we are just streaming on our YouTube platform. So please hit the like button and share this broadcast with as many as possible. I want you to actively do that so that many people can be a part of the broadcast. And I know it's going to be an amazing time today. So thank you so much. I'll give you about a minute to do that before we get started with the show today. So make sure you hit the like button and begin to share. Now, if this is your first time being a part of this broadcast, I'll assume that you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel. So please do me a favor and do yourself a favor as well. Make sure you click on the subscribe icon uh, on this YouTube channel. Reason is so that you can get notifications of this and many other contents that will be posted that will really inspire and transform you. So make sure you click on the subscribe button, be a member of this channel. And for those of us who are always as tuned with Facebook, we also have a page on Facebook with the same name that is used on this YouTube channel. So you can also follow, be a part of our social community on Facebook by following the page. So you can also get notifications of all that we are doing on that community. So I'd like you to do that because we are going to get started in about a minute right now. Thank you so very much for joining. And then call your friends, call your family members, let them gather around you, and your neighbors, everybody. Call your colleagues, your co-workers, wherever they are. Tell them that we are live right now and they cannot afford to miss the live transmission of this week's online mentorship session. By the way, it's compliments of the season because we're in December and festivities in the air. So, compliments of the season to every one of us around the world. And I will be able to give you our wishes and felicitations at the end of the broadcast. So, that being said, we will begin the show in about a minute from now. So make sure you like and share this broadcast. And then come with me on the live chat session. Engage with me on that section. Let me know where you're watching from, what city, what country, uh, and so that we have an idea of the various geographical locations within the reach of this broadcast. So please do that. I'm waiting for you in the comment section to know where you are watching from right now. It's going to be an amazing time today. Trust me. All right. That being said, I think we are ready to um, go into the show. right now. And like we always do, we begin with a word of prayer. Father, thank you for everyone watching right now from across the world, different nations and different cities. And we thank you for your wisdom that we're about to feast on right now. Inspire us with new ideas, inform and transform every one of us, and let us gain so much of your wisdom through this broadcast and through the subjects discussed. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Um, Today we want to talk about something relative to the season that we are in. Now, like I said, festivity is in the air. This is a time of the year where most Christians celebrate Christmas, which is the birth of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. And it is celebrated mainly on the 25th day of December. However, because the celebration of Christmas, like Nigeria, you can feel the festivity in the air, everybody getting ready to celebrate. And for those who watch from the United States, you will agree with me that Thanksgiving had already preceded this season from November. So it's just a carryover of celebrations. Now, because of the nature of the season, it's important for us to do or talk about something that relates with what's happening, even as we hope that you do enjoy this festive season. I want to talk about what I call dirty December versus clean up January. Dirty December versus clean up January. And we are looking at navigating the delusions of festive seasons. Dirty December versus clean up January. And I know there's a lot to unpack from this subject, but I also know that it's interesting enough because many of us already have an idea of what the subject contains. And so we want to just spend the time we have to really unpack it. Now, Detty December, the word dirty is actually spelled Detty. That is a um, that is a vernacular spelling, spelling in Pidgin English in Nigeria. And I just want to read to you some stuff I got from the internet so we understand what Dirty December really is. Dirty December is Nigeria's vibrant, party packed holiday season from mid December to New Year's. That's from middle December into January of the following year. Meaning dirty in quote or unrestrained fun filled with concerts, beach parties, cultural events, and family gatherings as the diaspora returns, making it a major cultural and economic phenomenon showcasing Nigerian energy and hospitality. So, because it is at the time of the year where there are a lot of festivities, the word dirty simply talks about unrestrained or uncontrolled fun-filled events like concerts, beach parties, cultural events, just a lot of events to really mark the season of celebration. And especially when you are in a country like Nigeria, these things hold sway. Now, it would interest you to know that because of the fun-filled events, a lot of people get to travel from around the world into countries like Nigeria. Well, many people travel this period, of course, to reconnect with loved ones or to reconnect with their roots, the city or the nation or the culture of their roots. Um, it's also interesting to know that because of this, it partly affects the economies of the host societies where some of these events take place. For instance, in Nigeria, because a lot of people from the diaspora will travel into Nigeria for some of these events, um, event planners and organizers have been prone to organizing so many cultural and festive events to host many of these people traveling in. And because of the parties, the concerts, and all of these events, there's a lot of buying and selling going on, a lot of transactions. So it even adds to the economy of the host city or nation, because they take advantage of the fact that there is a lot of fun happening that period. And it's also a way of showcasing the hospitality and energy and the culture of the host nation, especially in a place like Nigeria. um, it is, I spoke about non-stop partying, um, diaspora homecoming, you know Nigerians or other citizens from other nations returning to their homeland, cultural explosion, events, global trends, a lot of tourism going on, visiting a lot of tourist um, sites of attraction. Now, um, it will also interest you to know that between tourism, hospitality, and even the creative industry of the nation, it is government recognized. The government recognizes it and supports it because it helps to recognize globally the culture of Africa and of Nigeria. So that's why it is called Dirty December. A lot of festivity, a lot of celebrations, a lot of events going on. And as a matter of fact, this is the season where you have a lot of traffic, because the number of people moving is going to be so much. When you go to the airports this season, you would see a large crowd of people there. And by next week and even the week after that, it's going to be worse. In Nigeria, people can even travel up until the day of Christmas by road, by air, by water, all modes of transportations, just to connect with their loved ones, connect with their root culture, and just get to celebrate. These are also seasons where people return back to their native hometowns, the country, at the countrysides, their villages, and all of that. So it's all called Dirty December. That means there's a lot of spending that goes on, spending of resources for transportation, moving people, moving your family or yourself. There's also a lot of spending for food, and being a part of some of these events, paying tickets to be in this place. So a lot of financial engagement goes on this period. However, regardless of the fact that this season is filled with a lot of festivity and a lot of events that people want to enjoy and unwind, some take it as a time for vacation, and it's also encouraged that you can take advantage of the season to rest or take a little vacation, be with family, and all of that. It's become a trend that people can spend recklessly, risk everything in the name of following a tradition, a trend. Traveling to the villages or their homelands, being a part of all of these cultural events, music, concerts, and all of that, only for them to return back sometime in January. And in January, you then discover that the average class or low income class, a lot of them begin to wallow in penury. Maybe because what they have gathered over the year, saving from their work, has been blown up in the supposed tradition of Dirty December. As a matter of fact, some people are so used to this tradition that if they don't travel, if they are not part of festive events, if they don't go to see their families in the village, if there are things if they don't do, is as if they are not living or existing at all. Some even make it a do or die affair. That's why I said you can find people even traveling up until the 24th or 25th day of December. I remember years ago, I think it was in 2013, we traveled for a burial somewhere in Kogi State, which is in the Middle Belt region of Nigeria. We traveled for a burial, and when we finished the burial, we were on our way back. That was on the 21st of December. And we're on the highway between Kogi State and Abuja, which is Nigeria's federal capital territory. I remember very well that we spent close to 6 hours on that highway. The traffic was too much. It was jammed at some point. It was not even a go slow, it was a hold up. I mean, your car was literally off for more than an hour or two before moving. I literally saw people cooking on the road because there was no hope that we could come out of there. And the journey we started as early as 6, 7 a.m. We, finally arrived around 7, 8 p.m. in the night. So we spent literally the whole day on the road. For a journey that was supposed to just be 3 or 4 hours, it ended up becoming over 12 hours. And I was able to, that was on the 21st of December that year, which is few days to Christmas. And I witnessed the amount of human traffic jammed up on the road. Now, with current insecurity challenges, a lot of people have turned to using air routes. And of course, if you understand the aviation industry very well, the airfares just keep going up and up. And some people just feel it's a do or die. It doesn't matter how costly it is, they must travel. And I feel that there is a wisdom we need to have in navigating these festive periods. First of all, I believe it's a delusion to think that if you don't travel your native homeland, or if you don't engage in some of these events, that you are not in the spirit of this season. That's the number one delusion. Number two, I also believe it's a delusion that if you don't spend up to a particular amount. Now, watch this. I know, even growing up, that the time of the year where you had the best meal to eat was during Christmas. I mean, you could literally find a family that could barely feed. But at Christmas, you find them eating choice meals. In fact, do you know that some people go as far as contributing financial resources all the way from January up until December? And when it's accumulated in December, they can bring the whole contributions together, buy a dairy, a cattle, a cow, or a goat, or chickens, some poultry, and then share amongst themselves. So everybody has enough meat to go around for the season. Why do we think that it is only at this time of the year that you are supposed to eat a good food? That's the second delusion. The third delusion is people thinking that all you save from the beginning of the year should completely be blown up in December, forgetting that the year is going to begin again the very next month in January, especially for those who are salary earners. You're paid in December and you're not paid again till January. Now, they blow up a lot in the cost of traveling, festivity, events, and all of that. And it takes over a whole month before they get to see salaries coming in. So you see that a lot of families, a lot of average and low income earners suffer lack or some hard financial seasons before they get their salaries. And it's a tradition that keeps going again and again and again. And I think it will be wise enough in this broadcast that we get to understand what the season really is and take advantage of it in a most appropriate way to be part of the celebrations of the season, but not in a harmful way that makes you or forces you to make mistakes that are cyclical again and again, because this has gone on from generation to generation. So let's handle that. That's why it's called Dirty December versus Clean Up January. And that's what we want to really get to unpack. Now, first of all, that word Dirty December was, it's, I'd like you to know that it's a name that was coined it's a name that was coined in a Nigerian context due to the festive event that goes on in this season. It's also a tradition that has been followed for a long time. And I think it's time for us from the delusion to say, you know what? As much as December is a festive season that should be enjoyed and well celebrated, it should not be celebrated at extremes. And that you can still have a mild and wonderful celebration without blowing off a lot of resources and without excessive partying and unrestrained fun. I spoke about it, defining Dirty December, unrestrained fun. So this is where a lot of people engage in all kinds of things. Some go into alcohol, go into all just because of the uncensored or unrestrained activities that they get engaged in. So it's a delusion that we need to wake up from. And I believe one of the ways to wake up from it is to take advantage of the season, celebrate it within the warmth of family and friends. Having that company around you should be enough. You should enjoy the company of family if you have the privilege to that period. And in as much as you must have fun, let the fun-filled activities line up with your morals, line up with your principles, line up with your values, line up with your personality and what you represent, who you are. This is a season where a lot of people go into all kinds of social vices, alcohol, drugs, and all of that, of course, because of peer influence, and try to be sober in January, only to return back in December, and it's the same. So don't lose your moral values in the celebration of the season. The second delusion I talked about was, the delusion of traveling as a means of gratifying, gratifying one's will of having celebrated well the season. Traveling is good if it is also to connect to loved ones and to friends. If it is to connect with your root, connect with your with culture. It is important. Now, it is important, but not the ultimate. That's my counsel. And that's the reason why I love what Westerners do. If you go to Europe, United States, and some of these places, they get to plan their vacations. They have it once in a year. They work the remaining part of the year. So they get to plan and save up for it. Some do it around summer in August, and some at the end of the year. So they get to plan it over time and save up for it. So what you see them spend during that holiday season, they have saved up for it. And then because they saved up for it, they get to plan, okay, I want to go visit this country, or I want to go visit the native land of my mother or my father. I want to reconnect with my friends and families and all of that. However, it is not expedient or ultimate for you to travel. Let's also talk about the risk of accidents, whether by air or by road, or by water or by rail. Let's also talk about the insecurity situation in some parts, especially in Africa now, in the Sahel. And so you want to do all of these things knowing that all the parameters are right. Otherwise, when it becomes a do or die, you can throw caution to the wind and become a victim of so much. So that's the counsel for that. So I didn't say don't travel. I'm just saying don't get ruled up by the tradition of the season. Don't get, that's a problem. Many people get caught up with social norms, things that people created, and they're trying to normalize it in our societies. And you have a will and a mind of your own to be able to choose what is right for you. If, for instance, you don't get leave from your place of work, or you don't have enough finances to enjoy traveling and then still return back to something, or maybe the place you're going to is not safe, or for some reason you can skip the trip to another time, I think it's also good if you can remain sometimes and enjoy the festive season alone or with your neighbors. Socialize with the people around you. Get integrated within the context of the culture that you reside or you are domiciled in. It's also important. I mean, nobody is going to kill you if you don't travel. You are not marking a register. That's how they do it in Africa, as if they are marking a register, and all of that. Number 3 delusion is, the financial costs. That's why it's called Dirty December. People just feel we have to spend so much. Otherwise, we didn't enjoy the season. And I just feel that with the ever-evolving nature of global economy, inflation rising, and as well the cost of products and services, I just feel it is important that individuals and average families should be financially intelligent and make wise financial decisions. Wise financial decisions. You see, there's something people need to understand with the rich and the wealthy. It's not just about getting money, but it's about the wisdom to manage and sustain the resources you have. I've discovered a lot of people who may be poor, respectfully speaking, or lack. Part of the reason may be ignorance of money or their lack of respect for money. Some people have a mentality that once money comes to their hand, is to blow it up, is to spend it. I mean, I don't save any money or any money that comes. I make sure I enjoy myself because I don't know when next I will enjoy myself again. That's a survival mentality. That's survival mode. You have to grow out of that thinking if you want to grow wealth and if you want to live comfortably continuously. Sometimes you need to learn to delay your gratification. Make your financial budgets. If you're going to travel in December, why don't you start planning in January? And then by August, between August to October, you can review your plan if it's still possible to give yourself the kind of experience or treat you want to have and still come back and having something to fall back on. Why don't you, with what you have, go for what you can afford? You mustn't pay tickets for every show. Oh, there's an Afrobeat concert going on here. Oh, there is a nightlife happening here. Oh, there is this one happening here. Oh, there is this festival. Oh, there is this one. Some even go to the extent of taking chieftaincy titles this season. And I feel that some things can be restrained. Listen, you have the right to make decisions for yourself and don't allow people to force you into it. And another side to it is, you travel to places and then you are forced to make contributions, financial contributions, and you have to do it forcefully, not because you want to, but because you don't want to feel embarrassed for not being able to do it. It's common in Africa. And I just think it's wisdom to know that you are responsible for your choices, for your decisions. Nobody can make those decisions for you, and nobody will leave out the benefits or the consequences of your decision. So, if you cannot afford the trip, suspend it for another year. If you can afford, make sure it doesn't go above your budget. I think people need to learn to work with budgets. Budgets. I really, really think that people need to learn to work with budgets. With budgets. When you mention budget, a lot of people think you are stingy. No, you're not. People really need to work with budgets. Okay? So that's how to defeat the delusion. Now, what's the best advice for spending this, enjoying this festive season, the celebrations, and all of that? Number one, reflect on the spirit of the season. Reflect on the season, the spirit, or the theme message of the season. It's Christmas. It's a time of love. It's a time of sharing. It's a time to show kindness. It's a time to extend a hand to somebody. It's a time to enjoy the love of family and friends. When you are thoughtful about the spirit of a season or about the central message of that season, you will surely be able to celebrate it the most modest way as befitting to that season. Number two, be at home with or be comfortable with the company of friends and families, whether you travel or whether you are domiciled in a place. Spend time with friends, with family members, neighbors, people around you. Socialize, integrate, and interact with as many as you can, and the culture within your host society. It's also a good way, to grow socially. Number three, appropriate your finances in such a way that allows you to enjoy the season, but also not to be stranded in January, because every season has a beginning and an end. Dirty December is not dirty December the whole year. And for goodness sake, I think we should throw away that word dirty December. It doesn't have to be dirty to be enjoyed. It's just December. Okay? So appropriate your finances. Spend based on what you have, not more than what you have. I don't think you should take loans for consumables. I don't think so. No. Whatever you can afford is what you can afford. Somebody said January is 100 days. That's how it seems, because there's a lot of lack, because a lot of people have blown up all their savings, and then the race to getting the next salary is the end of January, and so a day in January is like 10 days. you know but when you appropriate your finances very well, when you have enough to fall back on in January is not 100 days, it's just 31 days. Never take loans for consumption. Never. Loans should only be considered for business investment. For business investment. Now, in addition to that, number 4, whilst people are celebrating and you are celebrating, take advantage of the season and see what business you can enter into. See what product or what services you can render to people. See what you can do for people. Let them pay you to do something for them. And so you earn a living whilst others are, celebrating. For instance, many of us can cook. We are chefs. A lot of people are so caught up with the celebrations, they may not have time to cook. For some people, they've worked all through the year and it's time to unwind. They can contract you, pay you, and then you prepare meals for them. Cakes, these are things that are needed this period. Confectionaries. Clothes, people want to wear new clothes. That's also another problem with, in fact, growing up, we always thought you only get a new clothes in December. And I thank God the last time I got a new clothes in December was 2001. I think 2000 or 2001, thereabout. So if you are a tailor, this is a good time to make money. Or you can get clothes and sell them for there. Okay? Consider your safety, your health, mentally and physically more. This is a season where a lot of people don't even find out the security situation of the places they are going to, only for them to go and get caught in a crossfire insecurity situation. So find out the security situation of the nation you are traveling to, the city you are going to, the routes you are taking. And if it's not safe, you can restrain from traveling, or you use a safer means of transportation. Okay? This is a season where you need to watch what you eat. I talked about taking care of your mental and physical health. Watch what you eat. A lot of people eat too much and then come kinds of diseases. A lot of people drink a lot and their liver get to suffer. So you will need to apply restraint to your activities. Like I said, it's not a do or die affair. Okay? It's a season that should be enjoyed moderately and modestly. And I think these are wise advices that will help. And there are milder ways to having fun without compromising your principles, your standards, and your moral values. There are milder ways to have talked about enjoying the company of family and friends. Of course, you can go see a movie, an amusement park with your family, or going to some natural tourist sites where you pay less and then enjoy nature. There are milder ways to still having fun. You may want to watch going for programs that have sometimes because of the security situation. So use every season you are in to prepare for the next. Use December to prepare for January and start preparing for December in January. It's very important. And I say this because I want us to enjoy the spirit of this season and have a most wonderful celebration this period. Nelly says, in this season, a lot of people are most stressed in this part of the world. Yes, and sometimes it's because of the good decisions we make. Sometimes you can set yourself free from the stress by just making moderate decisions that align with your status, align with your financial capacity, and align with your values and principles. So it's also a season to rest too. Very important. So in all you do, make sure you rest. Make sure you rest. Rest is not just sleeping. Rest, sleep, recreate. make sure you give your body maximum rest. Um, your plans. Just do as much as you can have. There will be many more years to celebrate. And for goodness sake, I think it's time for us to throw away that word dirty December. Let's not inherit traditions that were not properly scrutinized and do not align with our principles or our beliefs or our values. No. You have a right to choose what lifestyle you practice. You mustn't go with the norm. Most times we're always trying to align with society. And I think it's time for us to pull out of that. And for those of us who may be in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in Europe, and all of that, I know this period, winter is setting in and there's a lot of snow. So you may have to spend more time indoors. Sometimes invite your friends to come around, share a meal with them, give to somebody, extend a hand of help and kindness to somebody. Make sure somebody smiles in this season because of you. Because, like I said, it's a season of love, and love should be shared at all times. Nelly says, I'd rather stay home and enjoy some quiet time with family. That's good. But you can also go out too and be with neighbors and friends. I also talked about social integration, interacting with the people around you. But by all means, I want you to have a wonderful celebration this season. And please make right decisions, decisions that will give you benefits and that will help you end the year well and prepare for the next year. All right. So, okay. I think we've come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you so much for your time. And I thank you all for the comments. Every one of us that has participated today. Did we later go on Facebook or it's just YouTube? Just YouTube, huh? Okay. All right. So thank you for being a part of this broadcast. I don't know if we'll have one more before next year. I wanted us to talk about how to prepare for 2026. But I think we've had um, a few sessions, weeks ago. We talked about planning and all of that. Now, for those of us in Nigeria, please take advantage of this period to study about the new Nigerian Tax Act that is going to be enacted or enforced in 2026. Take advantage of this season to study about it, okay? There's a percentage that will be taxed from every Nigerian earning an income, and it begins in January. I don't know if the government will go ahead, but plans are underway to begin that in January. So take advantage of this season, study about it, uh, get a tax consultant, get a financial analyst, be aware of what is coming so you can plan. You need that as an individual, you need that as a family. Husbands and wives should come together and study that. And then for us generally across the globe, of course, the economies of nations are evolving and changing by the day. So I want you to wisely reflect on areas you can invest financially, um, as much as also investing in yourself. I believe the greatest investment is in yourself, your growth, your development. So take advantage of this season as you celebrate, make out little moments to soberly reflect on this year and plan towards areas that you trust to develop and improve. But by all means, please enjoy your life and have a wonderful celebration this season. All right. So if we're going to have one more broadcast, I'll let you know before the year is over. But for now, this is me saying compliments of the season. Merry Christmas to every one of us and a prosperous new year ahead. Please enjoy the celebrations and then make sure you create moments for yourself, for your family members this season. and stay safe, regardless of the nation or the city where you are. By the way, journey mercies to all those who will travel. All right. But by all means, have fun and create time to rest and to recreate as much as you have worked all through the year. Thank you so much for every one of us who have followed across the world from the United States, Canada, here in Nigeria and other parts. And watch out for more content that we are going to put out this holiday season. But from myself and the crew in the studio here, it is bye for now. Thank you.